Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever in the world you are. Welcome. Welcome to another evening or chat of track and field business legacy chat. And tonight I have a very, very important person. Of course, they're all important. Another Jamaican track and field darling, an Olympian. Her name is Zara Northover. And I know that a lot of you have been asking me for a while, who is this person? Where is she from? Where was she born? Which high school she went to? Did she run at champs? Tonight, she is going to tell us all of that. So, welcome wherever you are, whether you're in Asia, you're in Africa, Europe, Antarctica, Oceanic, wherever you are, welcome. Welcome to another night of Track and Field Chat. My name is HP, and welcome again to HP Chat Track. And tonight we're going to have some fun with Zara. So don't go anywhere. Stay right there, and we will be right back.
Jamaica's track and field legacy is unmatched. It is a story of triumph, resilience, and extraordinary talent. But do you know the stories behind the athletes who brought us glory? Hi, I'm HP, founder of HP Chat Track. My mission is simple: to celebrate the rich legacy of Jamaica track and field and shine a light on the incredible people who make it happen. Winning that race was a dream come true, but the journey wasn't easy. It's not just about medals, it's about inspiring the next generation. Jamaica track and field isn't just a sport, it's our pride, our culture, our heart. Every week I sit down with athletes, coaches and fans to bring you stories of dedication, passion and legacy. Plus, we've got exciting news and exclusive insights into the world of track and field. Make your Thursday night be at HP's place. Come hang out with us at HP Chat Track Studio, where track and field is our business. Jamaica, one people, one legacy.
Zara is here with me. Zara Northover. What a name. Listen, if your tongue is not situated properly in your mouth, you will you will be twisting up. But Zara, welcome. How are you, my love?
I am so good and so happy to be here.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Already we have people rolling in, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever you're watching from, welcome. Already I'm seeing two Olympians in the building way before you were born, Zara. We have Miss Vilma Charlton in the house, of course, 3 times Olympian for Jamaica. We also have Vonnie M, who is Ivan Saunders, another Jamaican Olympian from the 70s. And Miss Vilma said, welcome, Zara. Looking forward to learning more about you. And yes, that is what we're here for tonight, to learn about Zara. And I just want to say thank you to Aileen, who helped me with the research. Thank you very much for that, Aileen. Aileen really helped me to gather some information. So Zara, you are the woman of the moment. During my research, I discovered it revealed that you were born in 2 places in the United States, in New York and in Miami. Please declare that up for us. Where were you born?
Yes, and first of all, thank you, Aileen, my bestie. I love you. And thank you, HP, for just extending the opportunity and honestly for your service. I don't think that reporters really get enough credit for just validating athletes while they're competing and long after they compete. So, I really appreciate you for doing this and having me on.
Thank you.
So it is kind of funny. I wasn't born in 2 places. I wish I had a clone, but I don't. I was born in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, but I lived and grew up in Elmont, New York, where also Chelsea Hammond and basically, Siobhan Stoddard wasn't too far off either. She was in Uniondale.
Okay, so the record is now straight. She was born in Florida, because I did see Florida, and I also saw New York, and I was like, what? And this is why when you're doing research, they tell you they tell you to ensure that you have multiple sources. You have to have multiple sources. But Zara, born in Florida, raised in New York, who was from Jamaica? Your mom, your dad, your grandparents?
Both of them, grandparents, mother, father, and I always like to make sure I remind people. Born in Florida, while my mom was 6 months pregnant, she was in Florida, had me, and then I went right back to Jamaica. So
Wow.
so yes, I'm a beautiful American citizen, but I'm a true Jamaican because it was back and forth. I even brought this out from St. Paul's Elementary School in Jamaica, in Mandeville. So,
guys, look at Zara. Mandeville. Oh, look at that little face. Awesome, cute, too cute. But you mentioned Mandeville, and my next question was going to be, where in Jamaica is your roots, your real roots from?
yeah, so Mandeville is where my mother's side of the family is from. Kingston, Red Hills is where my father's side is from. So anytime I went back home, Mandeville is where, especially when I was younger, it was feeding the cows, it was cutting off chicken heads. It was like I was truly engrossed in the culture. Like so when people try to play me, because early in my Jamaican days on the team, people try to play me as if I wasn't some real Jamaican, but I'm a real Jamaican.
I love that. You know something? I love that, Zara, because I hear you talking about feeding the cows and cutting off the chicken head. That's how I grew up. And I'm like, get out of here, But it is, and this is why I love to do this, because this is how we now get to know about you guys, know your real roots. But tell me a little bit more about, being raised in Manchester. Did you go to high school in Jamaica?
So no, so I didn't go to high school. St. Paul's is where my stop ended, and then my mom ended up migrating to New York. So that's why I grew up in Elmont, New York, and Long Island. Went to elementary school, high school, and then I went to college in Boston at Northeastern University and got my master's at Eastern Michigan University in Ypsilanti. So now I live in Detroit. So I'm tuning in from Detroit. But Jamaica has always been the place. And, I think sometimes people forget that when you have Jamaican parents, usually, especially before you get into sports and stuff, every summer I was home. I spent the whole summer. It was to the point sometimes you cry because I knew when I go home, I'm going to be stepping on the pimento seeds, right? Putting them out to dry, walking miles to get to my grandfather's just so he could make me bring water to the cow that I named April. So my childhood was truly in the farm and in the trenches, like in Jamaica. My father was a construction worker, WG Northover Associates, which prior to that was Courage Construction. And his tagline was, if faith can't move mountains, courage can. So not too far from my personal brand of having moving in faith, right? So it runs in the family. And he had worked on the original Beltline in Jamaica. He also worked on the Edwards-Yaga Highway. His company worked on the airport road. The rocks that you see along the airport road and the siding and stuff like that was his company that did that as well. So, Jamaica's always been home and, a major part of who I am. Which is why I also ended up competing for Jamaica.
You are a true Jamaican. You are a Jamaican. No, seriously, you are a Jamaican because you're talking about our culture. You're talking about our culture, the way that you know it, and you are right on the money. And my next question to you was going to be, how connected did you feel to your Jamaican roots, even though you migrated early and you just described it that every summer you were back in Jamaica?
So I was so connected. And when I really wanted to solidify this, and this is what actually some people don't know, is that Northeastern University in Boston is a cooperative education school. So what that means is you're in school for 6 months and then you're working for 6 months, like you do an actual internship. So I wanted so bad to learn how to make sure I could cook Jamaican and truly be engrossed that I convinced my coach to let me go back to Jamaica for 6 months. So I actually did a 6-month internship as an adult in Jamaica. I worked for JIS. And I actually was the one that would do the stories on Kim when Kim went to the Olympics in the shot put in 2004. So 2004, I spent 6 months in Jamaica. I did stories behind like golf, learning about, swimming and cricket and all those things to put that on the radio. So, I really had a beautiful opportunity to I lived in Havendale. I would walk from JIS to KC to go and train with Michael Vassell. It wasn't just driving in the car and had the luxury life because I'm the American girl in Jamaica. I really put myself in the position to say, I'm here and I'm going to do everything like how my teammates and everybody else would be doing it, because I do think that that's actually our superpower. I really think anytime anybody asks me, why is a Jamaican athlete so talented? And I said, the things that people take for granted all over for the world, it's just not a luxury for Jamaican athletes. Like, you're walking to school or you're taking the bus to school. It's hot all day. It's not like you might have one high jump mat to land on if you're lucky, right? So the precision and what you have to do with the resources, the limited resources, if no resources at all, is really the superpower as to why Jamaican athletes can excel on a higher level than any other athlete.
You know what you just did, Zara? You just segue nicely into my next question, because my next question is going to be, tell me about your early days of physical activities, sports. How did you get into sports? Who discovered you? Was it in PE? Was it an uncle? How did it all started for you?
So I started off playing, I wasn't in track and field my whole life, like some athletes are in track and field their whole life. I started off playing softball, basketball. I think when people come up here, when my mom came up here, she didn't have anything, right? Like, she was a maid. She was she worked on a farm for a period of time, and then she was a home health aide. And the running joke about Jamaicans having like 10 jobs, right? And she was a single mom because it was just me and her, initially in the beginning. And so sports and after school programs was the birthright of what I had to do. One, for her to survive, right? To be able to provide for us with all the jobs that she had to do. And then, and also just to keep me active. So I started off in those places, but it's a funny story how I ended up in track and field, especially the shot put. So it was junior year. It wasn't until junior year of high school that a friend of mine, said, we should join track, because I was really good at volleyball, really good at softball. That's what I thought I was going to do for college. So I joined track and field to kind of just stay in shape. And then a friend said she needed a partner to do the shot put relay. I looked over at them girls. The girls were bigger and throwing. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I was in my initial reaction was like, that's not what I'm about to do. Why do you think I got to do it? Are you trying to call me big? Right? And I was heavy. I was 200 pounds in high school. I was a thick girl. So, so I said, all right, well, she needed a help, and I'm a helper. That's the one thing you can see is, and no one can tell you any differently, is that I will show up for my friends, right? Like, I will be there, ride or die for them. So I joined, I helped her with this shot put relay thing, and I ended up throwing further than every girl in the competition, never having practiced, never done it before. From a stand through, I threw like 32 feet. So at that point, my coach said, you don't have to, he's American, and he said, you don't have to practice, but this is what you're going to do, right? Because this was now the thing that I was like winning. It went from 32 feet to 36 feet. We find ourselves junior year going to Penn relays, and I have a mom that's, a CNA, not making much money. And this was my way of saying, okay, I'm going to pay for college, right? So we went to Penn relays, and me being greedy, because there's the Jamaican tent and the Jamaican food. And I think I had placed in the top 3 at Penn relays. And then I was like I just went into the tent and said, well, my mom's Jamaican and we want some patties. And before you know, my greediness, introduced me to the team. And I wasn't on the team, I hadn't competed for Jamaica. And they said, wait, you do shot put? And you're Jamaican? Or your parents are Jamaican? And I said, yeah. And then they invited me to come to a track meet in Jamaica. What I thought was just a regular track meet. I didn't know it was no national championship. So they invited me to come to the national championship. And it was Alfred Francis and Michael Vassell that I had talked to. And my father just would not come to America. He would always say, Osama bin Laden boom me up on the plane. And like just not flying. So I said, this is the perfect opportunity for me to just compete, for him to see me compete. And I ended up breaking the national record, the junior record, when I was at the first national junior championships in 2000. That probably would have been 2001. And the rest was 2 weeks later, I became a citizen. Alfred Francis said, yes, you're going to Barbados. And I got a silver medal for Jamaica at the I think it was junior, in Barbados that year. And the rest was history. I was on the team.
What a story. You just throw the discus and you were in. But let me ask you before we even get deep into that. Champs is the biggest thing ever, especially at the junior level. Did you know anything about boys and girls champs?
I know of the energy. I've never actually experienced one.
No, you will have to.
Yeah.
You need to go, Zara. You need to go.
I have not experienced. I watched it. Like I watched it on TV, YouTube and on the TV. And because I didn't, when you tell me, hey, come to Jamaica to compete, I didn't know like what you mean. Like I was like, okay, I'll go to the meet, but I didn't know anything about it or anything. So that's typically what pops up when you search like Jamaican track and field championships. So like the whole time I kept thinking this is like Penn relays, like but even bigger, like with vibes and energy. So it's definitely something even now. I mean, but I haven't experienced one even as an adult. So the goal is to go back for sure.
You need to go. Ailey need to take you. You definitely need to go. But let me ask you something. I'm going to put you on the spot now before we get to your collegiate level. If you were to attend a Jamaican high school, I know I'm putting you on the spot because you have all your friends who were your teammates, who some went to Vera, some went to St. Mary High, some went to St. Jago. So I'm going to put you on the spot. Which school, if you had gotten the opportunity to go to a Jamaican high school to compete in champs, which school would it have been?
So I think it ends up having to be somewhat of a two-part question because there's a school that I would have probably wanted to go to. I most likely probably would have been a Veer girl. Most of my friends, right, like went to Veer and so I think Veer Technical is probably where I would have wanted to go to. But I think if it was up to my parents, though, I think they probably would have placed me. It was a school in, oh Lord, it's slipping my mind. Starts with an S. What's the
Tell me where it is.
In Kingston, starts with the S. It's a little bit more on the uppity side.
St. Andrew High?
Yeah, I think that's where I probably would have been. They would have wanted me to go.
St. Andrew. Okay, that's St. Andrew High School for girls. It's an all-girl high school. Yeah.
That's where some of my siblings had went. So I think that's where they would have tried to place me. But the thing that I had always appreciated about Veer, it's just there's something about a Veer girl that's just like they're direct, they're just raw talent, and it's you don't have to be pretty. It's just like they are pretty, right? But you don't. There's something about the school that I think that's where I would have.
I'm going to agree with you, but I'm not going to say much because already I have been they're on me about Veer. But you're right, and Veer Technical is actually the school in Jamaica with the most Olympians. They have the most Olympian women. And they have the most Olympians overall. So that's a good pick. Veer would have been a good pick. Of course, Andrea Bliss is not too happy with you because she went to St. Jago High. Hello, Andrea. How are you? Hope you had a great birthday. Raidford Hunter is also in the building. He's saying, greetings, Zara. You've made an excellent progress, he is saying. So Andrea, I think Andrea is mad with you because she's a Monk Street girl. So you knew about champs and everything and you were excited, but you need to experience it, Zara. Champs is I don't know, there's something about champs that I've gone to world championships before, I've gone to other meets, but the energy in the national stadium in Jamaica for boys and girls champs is, especially now that it is merged, it is just a different kind of energy. And Aileen can tell you, Elva Goldburn can tell you, Andrea can tell you, all these people competed there. Patricia, all of them can tell you what champs is like. But let us move forward now to from high school to university, full scholarship. Tell me a little bit about that. Bright girl.
Yes. So I the one thing about just being Jamaican by blood and having it in me, we're ambitious people, right? Like, and at the end of the day, I knew financially, right, that my parents weren't going to be able to afford school. So and shot put wasn't really my first love, but it was the thing that I was the best at. So I went to schools and sought out schools that it's like, okay, God forbid I got hurt, where could I still excel? Where would I want to be? So I actually was and mind you, I started late. I started junior year. So being the person I am, the personality I am, I literally started getting the little newspaper clippings, put it in envelopes, and I wrote these schools and said, you should give me a full scholarship because I'm going to be great.
I love that. I love that.
So I wasn't really on a radar. I just started in junior year. Most people would have been doing track, throughout that time. So Northeastern had a co-op program. It's a school like Hofstra University, University of Maryland. I did write Clemson University. I wrote South Carolina. I wrote a lot of these schools. And, the story I like to share is that Clemson, after my because freshman year, I ended up making nationals. The national level, and they came and apologized to me after I won the ECACs, and she said, I should have believed you, because I get it, because here you have this high school girl that hasn't even thrown 48 feet yet, and like saying that I'm gonna be great because I just started and you should give me some money. Big time programs ain't doing that. So right. But I turned out to be great. I turned out to end up being a Hall of Famer and doing all the things. So,
yes, ma'am, and that we're going to talk about. But before we go any further, Ms. Vilma Charlton is saying, who is actually a St. Andrew High girl. She went to St. Andrew High. She's saying, Shelly and Northover. She's asking if she's your sister.
My cousin.
Your cousin. Okay. She said she has always wanted to ask you.
Yeah, my cousin.
Okay. And Dorothy Scott Genius, formerly of Veer, she said, hello, everyone, enjoying this interview. Yes, girl, Veer is it. We'll make you an honorary Veer girl, which I think you already are, because, when you're friends with Aileen, but that's Dorothy Scott Genius, another Olympian for Jamaica, 1980s Olympian. So, girl, the Olympians, they are rolling out to hear your story tonight. But let us get back to something. You talk about great shot put, discus, hammer throw, javelin. Zara, what are you doing the shot put, the discus, the hammer throw, and the javelin? Wow.
So we had just switched conferences from the America East Conference to the CAA conference. So still like mid-major Division I program. And I was the captain of the team. And the team, we had a few really talented people, right? But we had a few people that, we weren't a big D1 program, so we didn't have the depth, right? So I knew that in order for us to win, I was going to have to do the events. I was going to have to put myself in the events. So I literally just did what I needed to do, and I got as strong as I possibly could get. And I really trained hard because I believe, the goal was always to become an Olympian. I knew shot put was the thing that I'd be the best at, but I knew if I could tweak my muscles and just learn the rhythm of other things, that it would just make me more agile of an athlete. So I did what I had to do, one, for the team, And then, and my fellow teammate, one of my best friends now, Tremaine Shaw, she did the 400 hurdles, the 100 hurdles, and she was my co-captain. We literally like ended up winning the championships between the two of us, and then the few other points that we were able to get. We won our first year in 2007, the CAA championships, based off of both of us like scoring tons of points. And because I came in first in the discus, first in the hammer, first in the shot put, and I was like seventh in the javelin.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, I have never from I am watching track and field, I've never heard anything like this. Neither the high school, the collegiate, or the pro people. And I'm going to share it in a little bit. She won the shot put, she won the discus, the hammer throw, and she placed 5th or 7th in the javelin. How did you choose which event you wanted to concentrate on as a pro?
No, so I knew shot put was definitely the event for me. I do think that if my first 2 years, what some people don't know this, I didn't have a great coach, like, at Northeastern. And what ended up happening was my teammates stepped up. I had great teammates that knew the shot put, so they stepped up to help me. I almost actually transferred to FSU, where Coach Metters and Dorian Scott were. There were conversations and talks about possibly leaving. But then what happened was near and dear to my heart. There's a guy by the name of Joe Donahue in Boston that somebody said he was a great coach. He coached Olympians in the past. And he always says, I just dug him out of the grave, because I would record myself, send him the videos. I'd be training beyond practice. And then like he would kind of coach me, but he wasn't my official coach. And then eventually I told the school, if you don't hire him, I'm going to leave. And they ended up bringing him back.
Wow. What's your zodiac sign?
I'm a Pisces. March 6th.
Woo!
A dreamer and achiever.
Indeed. What a story. Beautiful. Guys, if you're just joining us, I'm here tonight with the wonderful, beautiful, talented, brilliant Zara Northover. And of course, she's letting us in a little bit, because I have been asking for years, and not just me, other track fans have been asking. I even asked Aileen years ago, I think I asked Aileen about you and Chelsea when I was doing a research on the school's track and field legacy. And when I got to your name, I'm like, how is it that I cannot find a Jamaican high school for Zara and Chelsea? And then I reached out to Aileen and said, Aileen, where did Chelsea and Zara went to school? And then she explained to me, and I said, good. So in my research, I have you for overseas, and I have Chelsea for overseas. But let me ask you, how were you able to balance doing all of this for your team and still remain getting good grades in the classroom?
I think that's the one thing I always attribute my ability to balance and achieve just being Jamaican. I mean, we really work hard. It's not even an option. Maurice and I were captains one year, and I remember in Maurice Smith, the decathlete, and when he was on, he was like laying on his deathbed, right? Like in between the next event, and we're all like, is he gonna finish? And he's like, failure is not an option, right? Like, and just that's the mentality I've always had. So in the beginning, it's like that balance. Do you procrastinate and wait to the end to do all the work? But for me, then I was like, well, if I'm going to procrastinate and have an all-nighter at the end of the week, then why wouldn't I just do the all-nighter in the beginning of the week, right? Like, so I shifted how it was. So I would do my work as soon as I got it, stayed up all night to get it all done, and then I could focus on everything else that I had to do because the work was already done. So that's kind of how I kind of maneuvered my situation to make it work all through college.
Was this something that you learned early in your life, whether from your mother, your grandmother? Was it something that you saw from somebody that you emulated, or it is just something that is innate?
So it's definitely innate, but my younger brother did track and field also. He competed for Jamaica in the Commonwealth Games in Scotland, Wayne Northover, and he went to Calabar. But our father used to always tell us, a man is not a failure because he tried and failed, but because he failed to try. So, and I'm one of 21 kids, right? Like, I mean, I have
Woo!
a large family. So I do say all the time.
Hold on. Did you say 21?
Yep. Yep.
You have all of 20 siblings?
Yep.
Wow.
So, you know,
What
so
a
the
family.
running joke used to be that I would say in speaking engagements, I said I had to learn how to compete early. I had to compete for my father's love, right? Like, you know, so at the end of the day, it was the thing that like I just knew if I worked really hard at whatever it is. And he would always say, like, I mean, even if you have to lick your head with rock stone to remember, like, or whatever whatever his mottos were, I picked that up. I mean, my father really and my mother were both hard workers, and they embedded that into me.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. This is a wonderful story. Very inspiring, very inspiring. So I guess by the time you got to university, by the time you became a senior, you know how to budget your money, you know how to manage your time. Tell me a little bit about your time management strategies.
You guys are gonna laugh at this. So I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood. Like from elementary school, I was the only Black girl. I remember telling my mom I was gonna run to be president of the school, and she was just, you know, like now she'll tell me how nervous she was, right? But back then, because we didn't have the money, like she was literally frying fritas, right? Like, I mean, like, because we didn't have the money to buy regular bread like everybody else has, but she's got the flour and the dough, fritas with corned beef and or sardines, and she's folding it in the paper and teaching me how to just eat it so nobody else could see. But I was the girl that came home and was like, "Mommy, can you make some for everybody?" Right? Like, because because I wasn't embarrassed about the roots, right? Like, you know, like, I mean, I'm so proud of us and what we've been able to do. And she also had such a thick accent. So I did have to grow up very early, right? Like, you know, like racism is a thing. People treat people differently. So, I mean, I do remember being in about sixth grade. My mom would call to try to even get an apartment, and people just kind of hang up the phone, right? Because you hear the Jamaican accent. So that I don't have an, you know, I could code switch, right, very easily. And then I definitely didn't have one. So she would be like, call this person, say this on the phone, and you know, and then she's like listening and telling me what to say. So when you're 12 years old, having to do that, you just it changes inside of you. Like, you know what you have to do for your family. And it's me and her trying to survive in New York City. And I just took that. So with that, going into high school, being the president of my class, a star, you know, a top athlete, I knew that I had to be great, right? Like, you know, in order to make my mom proud, in order to one day not have her not have to work as hard. I mean, that became just something that became my why.
Amazing. I'm inspired. I am inspired. But let us look at some of your achievements. Cause let me tell you, if we were to do everything, we would be here all night. Guys, if we were to do everything, we would be here all night. She is a graduate of Northeastern University with a bachelor's in communication and political science. 2013, she also graduated from Eastern Michigan University with a master's degree in sport management. We have something in common right there.
Yeah.
She is an Olympian, 2008 Olympian in the shot put. 2008, she also became a national champion. Yes, winner of the 2008 trials, Beijing. Beijing was just a big year for Jamaica. You came into the thing at the right time, the biggest ever. She's also 2008 champion Islands game in New York. 2008, she became the first Northeastern University female athlete to compete at the Olympic Games. That's just awesome. That's just awesome. 2007, you were awarded the Colonial Athletic Association Field Athlete of the Year for winning the shot put, the discus, the hammer throw, and finished seventh in the javelin. That is just outstanding. 2007 Eastern College Athletics Conference Championship, you set a new record. That's just brilliant, brilliant. Five-time NCAA championship qualifier. Amazing. 2006 Central America and Caribbean Games, you finished fifth. That's the CAC Games. You served on the Northeastern Student Athlete Advisory Committee. Man, you are busy. You are busy. Hall of Famer. You have a personal best of 17.56 meters. And we're going to stop right there because this is just a lot. Zara, you've served as, you're a leader, you're an athlete, you are everything. How did you manage to balance all of this and still come out on top? Not mediocre, not ordinary, but come out on top.
It really, honestly, glory to God, because God is the one that, you know, allows us to show up in different capacities. You know, and an advocate is who I've always been at the core of who I am. Hence the, you know, I've served as a captain on our Pan American Games team. I've you know, I just strive to be there for people, and I really, it's just, that's my why. It keeps me motivated, and so I'm always doing something. You know, I don't know, because I've never been tested, but you know, it has been a conversation of, man, do I have you know, my mom was like, you have shiny object syndrome. So like, I was like, you mean ADHD? Like, you know, because I was just go, wired, not tired, and always found something else to do. And I found joy in it. And especially when somebody else's faces light up, you know, and I could work hard to achieve it and be successful at it. I just kept going. You know, and that's nothing but God. I think God called me to all the things and all the places and all the relationships I've been able to make wherever I go. And that's what kept me going and kept me involved.
Amazing. That is all. My favorite word tonight is amazing. Amazing, amazing. But let me ask you, you did all those events. What was your typical training day like? I mean, training to throw the javelin is not easy. It's not easy. And you know,
yeah. So the javelin, the javelin, I actually didn't train for. That day looked crazy, that championship. In between the championship, I had that portable, the portable pulse thing, because my arm was just gone. Like, you know, like I just knew I had to do it, and I had to try to place. The other events is the discus and the hammer I trained, you know, heavily for. So it was a lot of practice. It was waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning to lift. It was then going to classes, and then going to a session, and then going to classes, and then going to another session, and then going to lift. You know, like there were long days, particularly around that championship. My focus has always been just a shot put. The other events I would do because I knew I needed to compete in order to score points for the team, you know, so the focus I wasn't as focused on those events, but I was strong enough and talented enough to learn them and the basics, and I zone in. That's the thing about me. I'm like, if we have 45 minutes to learn something or do something, I am completely zoned in that 45 minutes that I'm going to receive, like I'm going to what's the word? I'm going to embrace and receive everything and just get it. And then I'm going to watch it on videos. So that's always been my key tip to people before, you know, video thing was as big as it was. It's like, go on YouTube, look at the best people, the one that looks closest to you, and then mirror that. So I mirror it in practice. I mirror it at home. I'm constantly feeding my brain what I need to do.
2008, you won the national championship. 2008 was a big year. What kind of mindset you had coming into Jamaica for the national championship? What was going through your mind? What was the energy like? What was the motivation? How you felt? Just take us back a little bit to that trials. I was there, you know.
So 2008 was tough. Like, and it was tough because I did make the Olympic team. I did qualify for it. But I don't know if you remember the story, but I actually wasn't named to the team. I wasn't named to the team initially for 2008. So I had to fight and advocate for myself to get put on the team because I deserved to be on the team in 2008. So luckily I was able to do it because of my connections with like the USATF and the people back in the US and stuff. But I had to make a lot of calls politically to get the space after fighting, right? Like,
why did you have to fight? Tell us about that a little bit. What happened? Why were you not named on the team?
Then I can't tell you that. You gotta have to ask the J3A and the JOA. Like, like these are, it's the same like Nayoka Campbell. I mean, yeah, Nayoka Klumis and Erica Belvit. And, it's unfortunate that throwers for the test of time, especially women throwers, have had it difficult. Jason Morgan has talked about it as well. But it's a real thing. Nadia ended up switching Legiancy towards the end. It's always been very difficult for throwers in Jamaica because throwing wasn't necessarily the event that we really cared about. Or we really fostered or nurtured. And it's still technically a struggle, but I'm grateful it's gotten better. Like, it's such a joy to see Nayoka and Erica and Danielle,
Hall,
and Dakaris and Chad, and it's definitely transformed over the years, but it was really difficult to pave the path early. And that's how I saw what my position was. Kim, people don't really talk about Kim, but Kim came before me. She was an Olympic shot putter that went to University of Florida, that competed in 2004 for Jamaica. And the way we ripped her apart I
need to find Kim.
Yeah, like the way we just didn't support our throwers the way that we could have. So I took it upon myself, though. I mean, those are challenges for me. And I had great relationships with the team. And that's the one beautiful thing. The thing is, our teams are solid as a rock, right? Like, and we do have each other's back. I mean, there were times where Peaches would call me at 9:00 on WhatsApp video, and she's like, all right, time to do P90X 300 abs, right? Like, and she's in Iowa, I'm in Detroit, and we're training to prepare for these meets because we wanted to hold each other accountable. So the leading up to that 2008 meet, I was in New York for a USATF meet because I had one more meet to try to get the standard. And that's where I threw the 1756. My high school gym teacher came out, my elementary school gym teacher. It was a ton of people in the stands. There was only like 3 athletes entered in the shot put. And my last throw, I threw the 1756, which hit the qualifying B standard for me to be able to say, Jamaica can't say I didn't hit the standard to go. So then when I went to the championships, I think Cleo that year, Trinidad, we allowed her to compete in the competition. So that was nice, right? From Trinidad for her to have her distance. Danielle was much younger, back then, but she competed as well. So to have my whole family in the stands, my father was there, my mother was there, everybody was there. To know that when I won the championships, I knew I had the standard. I was on cloud 9 because I was like, okay, I'm on the team. So then when 2 days later comes out and the newspaper comes out and then you don't see your name on the list.
How did you feel? How did you feel when the team was named and Zara Northover? Because you cannot miss your name because that's a unique name.
I'm just hurt. And it's just tiring because you get to the point of feeling like nothing you do will be good enough for your country. And it's a country that people don't realize how much athletes actually give in order to compete. I'm the one that has to find money to pay my way, to pay my rent, to pay for practice, to pay, because if you're not in college anymore because you graduated, you're paying to play. You're paying to try to represent your country at the highest level, to bring pride, right, and joy to your country. And then the country that is given funds from, whether it's an IOC or different things, and there's B development funds and there's funds from the Puma or whoever it is that's sponsoring us. It's just a shame that we're not supported, in a way that's efficient across the board. Because the thing is, I know I had the skill set that I could have probably gone on to do even bigger and better things for the country. I wrote and asked for the support. So it's not like to say, nobody could say I didn't, but it was a constant fight, unfortunately, with the J3As and people for that support. And that's why I make sure that I'm there for athletes when they reach out. I touch base and we do the best that we can. I mean, I remember one year I tried to pay my way. I mean, my father said he would pay for me to go to the competition, and we still said no. So we have to do better. But I'm glad that I fought so hard to get on the team. But I think what people don't realize, even when I got to the Olympics, my name wasn't on the list. Even when I was in China, my name that wasn't on the list. And then I'm contained. And then it was like, I didn't get a uniform. I didn't have, so it was a lot going on, but I still tried to do my best for my country, because at the end of the day, it's bigger than, a few people that aren't necessarily doing the right thing. I have the pride in the 3.2 million people across the island, right? I have pride in my family that's watching, my friends and my team members that are supportive of me. And that's why Aileen and Chelsea, I mean, they're sisters, because and Peaches, they were really by my side the whole time, knocking, we need to get Zara some sneakers. We need to do X, Y, and Z, whatever it needed to be, right? I had them to talk to Michael Vassell, Alfred Frances. There are some people that really just try to push as best as possible to support me, but it shouldn't have been so hard.
You're right. You are totally right about that. And what I want to ask you is, and I know you're getting a little emotional, so we're not going to stay on it too much. And it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. But how did that impact your performance?
Imagine having to, I think it's what people don't, it's the mental stress.
Yeah.
So there's this already now defeat, even though it should be the happiest moment. And, then when you talk about the science behind it all, the endorphins of happiness actually allow you to do well. Mm-hmm. And then now you take away the endorphins, and then I go into fight or flight mode because I'm still determined and I'm an ambitious person. So now I have to try to prove myself to the people that should just see me, right? So I felt unvalidated. So mentally it does take away, because you're tired. Not only do I still have to work hard to train for something that I don't even know if I'm going to make, because I'm trying to fight it through emails and, politically. And then when you do make it, then you get to China and you're stopped again because you're not on some list because of whatever reason. It's annoying, which is why I felt so much for, our athletes, especially this last Olympics, so it's I understood mentally, it was triggering, because I could feel it all over again, with some of those complaints that came out. But it's hurtful. But the sad part really is you almost expect it. So there's a part of you that's well, I just got to, if I want it, I'm going to do what I need to do to try to achieve it anyway, despite it all. But it shouldn't be like that.
I totally agree with you. So for you, it was a bittersweet Olympic Games, because you were on a team with Usain Bolt, Shellyan, Veronica, Aileen, Chelsea, the whole world, Melaine Walker. Jamaica was
Andrea
winning.
Bliss,
Andrea Bliss,
yep.
Bridget,
Yvonne
everybody,
Stoddard.
Asafa, yep. And you are going to name some of them. But when you saw how well your teammates were doing, especially when they start with the 100 meters, Bolt winning, Shellyan winning, and it kept going from day one until the end. I mean, Lance Whitaker said the Jamaicans are on fire in the bird's nest. What did that mean to you, being a part of that kind of history, that was a big chunk of our legacy right there?
Absolutely. And it's a blessing to be, I'm basically I'm one of the historians. Everywhere Maurice went, our captain, our decathlete, he had his little video camera. But I was always snapping pictures. So I have tons of pictures from the Olympics, tons of pictures. And at the end of the day, that's also the memory. Remember, the sports management person in me was excited to see how an Olympic Games was running, right? So there was two focuses happening at the same time for me. There was the athlete that was there, but there was also the business side of all right, if I'm going to be a part of a future Olympic Games, right? Like, I get to see how it's happening. I get to be here for my teammates because I'm a ride or die from my friends. So, so it was exciting to be a part of that. I remember if you watch that, the documentary with Usain Bolt, there's a moment you see me and Aileen and all of us are running out the room when when he goes off, because we're a part of history. Like, it's a service what we're doing when we're athletes on that level. And we take it, even though we joke and we have a good time, we take that with stride and with pride, right, for our country at all times, because we are trend setting. You know what I mean? Like, with everything that we do, the way we dress, the way we look, the way we show up, the way we have fun, like, right? Like, everybody wants to be at least a part of Jamaica or have something about our culture. And that was amazing to be during the opening ceremonies with everybody.
That was cool.
It was a dream come true. It really was.
Wow. I like the way you're reliving the story, the bitter with the sweet. And of course, it is all a part of the journey, all a part of the legacy. It is a part of your legacy, because you are one of them that can say, I was there. You are a part of that. You have that OLY attached to your name, and that was because you fought for it. You did everything to ensure that you were on that team. But let me ask you, you could have easily competed for the United States, if you wanted to. You had a choice, easy choice. Did you always know that you wanted to compete for Jamaica?
Yes. And the reason why is because my father said he didn't want to come boom him up in America. And and I wanted my whole family to be able to see me compete. So that's for me is what made that decision very easy for me. And as a child, right, I would go to Jamaica every summer. So now as an adult, this put me in a position to be able to go home and train, all the time, because now I'm with my team. Jamaica has always been in my blood. It's who I am. Like, I just happen to be born here and live here, but I'm a Jamaican, right?
You're a yardie,
but I'm a yardie.
Yardie straight. But you know what I want to ask you, though, going back to Beijing a little bit. We were dominating, we were doing well, and every time that we go to Asia, we seem to do well. Jamaica seemed to do well in Asia. What was the whole vibe like with Usain? I mean, he became the man of the hour. He became this tall tree just out of nowhere. What was the vibe like being in camp with him, hanging out? Because I've seen a picture with Usain, I think Chelsea and Aileen having a lot of fun.
We spent a lot of time. And fortunately for me, I was with Bolt also when he broke the world junior record. So I've been on the team with him multiple times. And so from 2002 leading up to 2008. So it was home. A memory that comes to mind was just literally the day before Maurice had cut his hair. So when he went on the stands and he was like this, it was like a shout out to say he was hailing up Maurice. So, so online and to some of the Americans and other people, they're probably like, Bolt's just being flashy and taunting and all that stuff. But no, he was hailing up his teammate. And I think that's what I remember the most about 2008 was how united we were.
Yes.
There were some issues here. There's always going to be issues on a team. But at the end of the day, we are very united as a team. And that's what showed up. And that's what made all the wins special. There were some athletes that even flew in to China to be there. I remember Tamale Kerr, was there with her family to watch. And that's what made it. My mom flew in and parents flew in. So it was just special. Our Jamaican chef, my mom ended up staying with the Jamaican chef because she didn't have a hotel. She flew to China without a hotel.
I tell you, we Jamaicans, I think Jamaica is the most popular and the most influential country in the world. Because when I look at social media sometimes, people from other cultures trying to either dance like Jamaica, talk like Jamaican, something Jamaican. They want to be so much associated. Just today, I saw a video from Duplantis saying he wants to come to Jamaica. And I'm like, wow, we are something else.
We are special.
We are special, and I don't think we know how special we are. And track and field Jamaica is a brand. Your thoughts on that?
We are, and I'm gonna say it before the time even ends, because there is no reason that 2028 should not be our largest contingency, because Jamaica is also America. There are so many Jamaicans all over the United States that financially we can come together to support having the largest contingency we've ever had in 2028. And it has to start now. And we have the ability to do it. I just think that sometimes it's like we're stuck in time and we're not elevating how everybody else is. And I could speak it because I have been sought out on the US side before. You know, the US is raising like $500 million to prepare for 2028, right? Like, I mean, like, so and that's raising money to support athletes, right? Like, we have the ability to do the same thing, because remember, we have billionaires that used to run track. We have people that we could be communicating with, but we're not
proactive in planning. We're not planning. We're not proactive in the planning. And I totally agree with you. I think LA 2028 should be a big deal for Jamaica. I mean, I think we should even have our own village. I think we should have a village in LA where Jamaicans can come. You know what? Let me not say anymore, because I kind of have a little plans. Yeah. Leave it alone. Leave it alone.
But the good thing about speaking it now is it's also the seed has been planted, and that's where I see that we have so much to offer the world, but we need to also make sure that we're monetizing it properly and transparently supporting the people that needs to be supported with the funds that we would potentially either raise. Because whether it's master classes, whether it's camps, whether it's games, whether it's just fundraising itself, like all those, whether it's sponsorships and partnerships, all those things can be put in place right now to prepare for 2028, because there's too many Jamaican people in California, in Oregon, in Washington, in Nevada, in New York that will be in 2028. Like, right? Like, it will be there. So now's the time for us to come together.
I totally agree. There's no way when LA 2028 comes around, I should hear that our reserve, they are not in a camp nearby. There's no way when LA 2028 comes, our athletes should not be comfortable, not being fed properly, not being hydrated properly, don't have enough coaches. We should have everything. And as you rightfully said, 1 year already gone since Paris. This year is done.
Yeah.
So we need to start doing the work now. As you said, start raising the funds. So when that time comes, all our athletes are treated royally to perform royally. But let me ask you about challenges. I know with everything, there are challenges. You almost look like you've had a perfect life. You've excelled. You've excelled in everything that you have done. What are some of the biggest challenges that you have faced throughout your life, your career? Those that you want to share. You don't have to share. Share what you're comfortable with.
I could be 100% vocal. I mean, even right now, I am in the midst of a race discrimination, a retaliation lawsuit against a large lender, against Rocket Mortgage and it's been going on for years. Like, you know, like when I talk about racism, when I talk about discrimination, like those things are real. But the thing is, you know, when you're an Olympian, you have the mindset to fight, right? Like, you know, and to advocate and to stand up for yourself. And that's exactly what I'm doing. So I'm standing before the Michigan Supreme Court. I do have a petition that has over 1,100 people that have rose up and to support me. Letters have gone to the Supreme Court, and we're waiting right now to hear if I get granted the review, for the retaliation that I experienced. And ultimately, just to keep it brief, I was threatened, and I was doing really well in my company. They even used my face, my likeness. They used the whole Olympic stuff for everything, right? And then before you know it, I'm being threatened. I was told if I continue down this path, it won't end well for me. When I started to advocate for more minorities and for women in leadership. And then 2 weeks later, I received a card in the mail with a gorilla on the front. And inside the card said, "I see a great year in your future," or "bananas. It's unclear. Happy birthday anyway."
Wow.
By the CEO and the former CEO and COO of the company. So when I say that, yes, I may look like I have a glamorous life, because my friend said it best. Like it's a blessing to struggle well, right? And the fruit of long suffering, right? The spirit of long suffering is still a real thing. And this is just a challenge that, I feel like God said, you're the right one to be able to challenge this and hopefully try to break some systemic issues that need to be broken here. And we move forward, because I don't know if you saw what's going on with soccer and FIFA.
Mm-hmm.
Now FIFA's like, I don't know if we go into America with all this ICE stuff.
Yeah.
Like, we might take this rodeo to Canada. So America's going through some stuff right now. So therefore, that's why we also got to make sure when 2028 comes around, we're on top of all the dotted I's, the T's, to make sure
T's are crossed.
taken care of. We don't have time to play around.
Totally agree with you. But with everything that is going on, what keeps you going? What pushes you? What motivates you? What keep you going forward?
I said it before with this blazing a trail. Like, I feel like even in Jamaica with shot put, at some point it came to the point of feeling like, I'm going to do this so it gets easier, so I could be representation for someone else. All right. I know that because I did it, there were younger shot putters that saw me now and then said, this is a thing that I could do. Right. I even marketed myself. I put myself out there with pictures. I got myself done up. So you could see that shot put can be just as glamorous as sprinting, right? And we could still have it. And so even with this and me fighting this lawsuit and now choosing to be vocal, I've learned from early, and that's why my brand, my Moving in Faith, I have my own brand with jewelry and shirts.
Which we're going to talk about next. Yes.
Yeah, but my own brand is Moving in Faith, because I truly have faith that everything that we do in life is God giving us the blueprint and putting through us a fellowship so we could elevate to the next level. It's not always going to feel good. And even if it doesn't feel good, you just have to be certain of the uncertain and push forward. And that's what has always innately been inside of me, along with that motto from my father: a man is not a failure because he tried and failed, only because he failed to try. Right. So I always got to try.
Amazing. Hey, Aileen is here with us. Good night, Aileen. But one of the things that I like about sports, and this was why I played sports when I was much younger, the friendships that you guys form in sports. You form friendships with a lot of people, but this friendship right here that I'm going to drop on the screen. Tell me a little bit about this friendship right here.
Aileen Bailey. That name has it. Aileen Bailey Taylor. Aileen Taylor. But Aileen has been a sister. I think, people, I'm all about making sure that people get their flowers. And Aileen was the mother of the team, right? Aileen was the person that everybody could go to talk to put their head on her shoulder, that could get a hug, that could get, spiritual advice, that whatever it is that's needed, she was going to be your right-hand person. And, and I was fortunate to have Siobhan Stoddard to teach me the ways, Chelsea Hammond to be friends with Bolt and Maurice, Smith. I had lots of beautiful friendships. Jason Morgan, Dorian Scott, Peaches Roach. The list could go on. I was very close with my team. But with Aileen, I mean, it was an instant connection. We were truly sisters, right? But you know, she has a lot of brothers and sisters too.
Oh yes.
There's so many similarities there.
Oh yes.
But from being there for her baby shower to actually being the ordained minister that married her, like, you know, that has been my girl from day one.
Indeed, indeed. Aileen is truly a sweetheart. A matter of fact, Aileen is one of the reason why I am doing this. And if you notice, she is in my backdrop. She is actually the face of this platform, because when I was going to do this, she was one of the first persons I reached out to for an interview. And she said, yes, anything you want. And she said, listen, I will be your guinea pig. So Aileen is really, really a sweetheart, a Jamaican gem, one of Jamaica's sweethearts. So Aileen, we thank you very, very much. But going back to you, Zara. Zara, you wear many hats. You are a motivational speaker. You're a leader. You're an athlete. You're everything. What inspired all of this that you are now doing? And I want you to tell us a little bit about Moving in Faith, your brand, Moving in Faith, started 2007.
So for me, it evolved in 2007. It initially started in 2004. And the reason why it started in 2004 is because, remember I was telling you, I almost transferred and left school because I had a hard time of like, all right, what's going on? I need I know I'm great, right? I know I have the ability to be a great shot putter, but I need a coach, right? Like I know that I needed a coach. And I was torn on if I was going to transfer. And I remember one day just laying on the floor and praying to God. And then the thought just came to my mind, and it was like moving in faith. And so then at that point, it was just a motto I told myself. And the reason why you said 2007, because 2007, the year of that championship, I ended up, our team was all disheveled and people were arguing before that CAA. And me and my co-captain and my other best friend, Tremaine, decided we were going to buy some wife beaters, some tank tops, some white tank tops, Fruit of a Loom, and we were just going to create our own uniforms and do a team activity. And I wrote Moving in Faith on the back of mine and the name of every single girl on my team. And I remember saying, I'm not doing this meet for me. I'm doing this team for us, right? And that's all we got to remember, for our family, for our why, all this stuff. And I remember putting that over my uniform and competing in that tank top. And that's been my motivating spirit for everything, right? Like when my mom had me on the phone because people were hanging up on the phone when they heard her Jamaican accent, right, to rent to her house, like I'm on there talking to these people to help her get an apartment at 12 years old. Right? You know, when I had my first job, I did an interview over the phone, and then when the guy came to pick me up for the summer camp, he drove past me because he thought I was white, but I was black. So, right, like, so people, I know, like, it's crazy, right? But it's like, I've always been in this position of having to be a leader, like, you know, and that's really what, God had called me to do. And that's why the brand is to inspire people to just keep going, right? Like, you know, and when God put it on my heart, he said, you're going to use this platform, because why am I paying Puma? Why am I paying Nike? Why am I actually buying all these other things to support the people competing against me? So then that's where I started competing in clothes that said Moving in Faith. And actually, when Aileen was no longer with Adidas, when they didn't re-sign her, I ended up getting some Moving in Faith uniforms made so Aileen could run in Moving in Faith uniforms. So, you know, like that's how she ended out her career. And same with Peaches Roach and some other athletes, because and that's the dream. It's going to happen one day. Hopefully one day I'll be, Moving in Faith will be a whole brand line at an Olympic Games. But the reality was, this is a thing that reminds people to keep going. And I knew that my shot put platform, before my coach died in 2010, he had said to me that my impact was beyond the circle. And it has been, right? Before I even started competing and long after I competing, my impact is beyond the circle. And this was something that was going to be able to motivate and inspire the world. And it did with our world cricket team, 2016. They ended up winning the World Cricket Championships, and all of them had Moving in Faith shirts on.
Girl, you know about sports. What do you know about cricket?
Yeah, so
Wow.
yeah, the world cricket, because I remember it was the team captain had reached out to me, and she said she loves moving in faith. She had saw it was Paula Simpson was wearing a shirt, and Marissa had reached out to me and said, "Hey, can you send us some shirts to India?" Where they were playing the world championships in 2016, and they weren't doing so well in the beginning. So I spent $110 to ship a box of t-shirts to India for the team, and they went on a team dinner. They took a beautiful moving in face shirt, and I just remember getting calls from Mr. Vassell and all these people saying, "We see a shirt on TV," and they had won the World Cricket Championships.
Yes, they did. They did. They did.
Yeah, that year. So moving in faith is an empowering, right, phrase that literally could unite all people regardless of what your religion is, because everybody has faith. Whether you have faith in your dog or whether you have faith in God, everybody has faith in something.
Wow, wow. So moving in faith is actually an apparel. That's where you're taking it, right? Apparel.
It's going to be apparel, and I'm starting a jewelry line because people kept saying to me that it's not like you're going to wear a t-shirt every day, and they want something where they can have it on them every day. So from rings to jewelry to earrings, so I've been working on the prototypes.
Tell us about those jewelry that you're wearing, because I need a set. So let us talk. Let us talk. I need to be showing it off here.
Yeah, absolutely. I got some beautiful earrings. I'm very excited about the stuff I'm working on now. So I've been going through some business cohort programs. I actually went to China in May to meet with a manufacturing company. Like, I've been sourcing different places. The plan is I'm excited. We're working on some good stuff.
I love that. I love that. So for the t-shirts, and the reason why I'm staying with the apparel is because I have a non-profit sport organization that I'm trying to find a kit for it. I'm trying to find something. And this is why I'm trying to understand how your thing works, because you just never know. But I'm happy that you say that. So now I know where to look. Yes. Yeah. Can you get the kit in any color?
So movinginfaith.com is the website now. On there, it's just black shirts on there. But yeah, I mean, I've customized stuff, and all of that stuff is in the works. It's just, it takes money to make money. So that's, so I did a lot. I'm trademarked actually in India, Brazil, Canada, Jamaica, the United States, but I did all the foundational legal stuff first, and now it's really trying to build the brand, because I do see this being truly a worldwide, brand. So I'm excited to see where this goes.
Indeed. Let me read this comment. Donia Ray saying, "Good evening. I love how you find these hidden gems." You hear what she call you? Gem. She called you a gem. That's what I call the athlete. She said, "I love how you find these hidden gems from Jamaica. I'm late. So I went back from the beginning to watch." So thank you very much for that, Donia. There was also another comment saying the same thing, where Michael Hill is saying, "HP, thank you for exposing us to these athletes. I thought I knew every Jamaican athlete, but you have introduced me to a few, including Zara." Thank you guys very, very much. And that's what we do over here. We highlight and we celebrate our people. Zara, a lot of athletes are struggling as we speak. 2025, and we still have athletes struggling, especially our middle long distance athletes, our field athletes, the throwers, the jumpers. They seem to be at the bottom of the food chain, if I can say that. How would you guide their path to ensure that they position themselves in such a way that they're able to attract the right sponsors?
So ultimately, there's a couple things. I think I had to work, I paid to play. And that's why it makes it even so much harder when you know that somebody is out there literally working their behinds off, doing jobs they don't want to do, getting up early in the morning. But, if you're in that position and that's what you have to do, I mean, that's the mindset you have. Like, you have a dream and you have a vision. So if you have to get a morning job or a night job just so you can train during the day, then that's what you do, right? You learn to live minimalistically, right? Like just the bare minimum so you could train and with the hopes of knowing that you're going to try to get a sponsorship. And then it's also small sponsorships, right? Like there's communities, there's your chiropractors, there's your, don't be afraid to put together a small kit and utilize your social media platforms to say, hey, Tony's Pizzeria, like I'm training for the Olympics. Can you guys give me $100 a month? Like, right? Even if it's $50 a month, can you something small? Because I think when you get a couple small people willing to contribute, then that might be your phone bill. That might be your rent. So it's maybe less hours you may have to work because somebody else is able to contribute. So it's just being more creative with how you can make things happen. I remember as an athlete, when even if I didn't get money, like sometimes I would, I had drank muscle milk, right? Like, so I just emailed them and I said, hey, my name is Zara. I'm training for the Olympics. I've done X, Y, and Z. Can you guys provide me with some products, right? Like, so that's one less thing I have to buy, right? Like, so therefore these are the things where we have to be more creative when you're not an A standard, full-time sponsored athlete to get the support. But it's also the reason why it's important for the federation, right? The reason why you get money is not necessarily to give it to the people that already have money, right? It's really supposed to be to give it to the athletes and develop so we have more, right? And we have to fix it. Like, we have to fix it because there is money in these systems to be able to support athletes. Even if it's not for everything, something is better than nothing.
Indeed.
And that's what we have to change. We have to change that as a culture and a country because it's almost embarrassing, right? Like, that we don't have more of a talent, a depth within our teams. And we're hearing too much of it. Soccer, we're hearing it in other sports. It's just doesn't make sense. Not when we're as talented as we are.
Totally agree with you. And that's something I advocate for too. We need to be, evolving. And as you said before, feeding a man who is not hungry, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Noplet Smith Brown, good night to you. Welcome. Marlene Green is also here. Welcome, welcome. Monica Lewis, welcome each and everyone. And Marlene Green is saying, very interesting interview. I totally agree. Zara, as a retired athlete, what do you wish, now when you look back, what do you wish we had then when you were competing that would have helped to make your journey a little easier? Even when you earned your spot, you still had to fight.
Honestly, the biggest thing that I needed, even if it wasn't the financial support, just giving me what I actually deserved, right? Like, I think that's the hard part. I worked hard for the things that I deserved to get. And then after working hard, I had to fight for it, right? Like, that doesn't make sense. If somebody makes a stand, if the policy is, as a country, you have an A standard and a B standard. If you have no athletes, right, in that with an A standard, then a B standard can make it. As a developing country, it means something to send a B standard because the exposure and the experience, that in itself will make people so excited and they have a taste for it that they come back and they work even harder. Plus, the nature of track and field, especially in the field events, you never know if it's just going to all of a sudden come together in one throw or one jump. All of a sudden that 17.56 could be 18.35 and winning in a games because it just all of a sudden happened to come together. We are all training. Nobody's out here that's just willy-nilly and not doing, just doing it for clout, right? Mm-hmm. We're all training because we're trying to achieve something. And I just wish that people would give people just what they deserved, right? So not make the mistake based off of what they deserved. We can't afford that.
Yeah. Plus, too, it is It is the legacy. We are continuously building the legacy. So if an athlete, if the B standard gives you an opportunity to go, then let them go. It is the legacy at the end of the day. When we look back, we can now say Jamaica had a shot putter on the team 2008. The
And
legacy.
now, right, which led to a bronze medalist, right, in shot put in 2024, right? But you have to create legacy and
Yes.
representation so people could see what they could achieve, right? And that's to me, that's what mattered, right? Like
Yeah.
that's what I feel like God said my position at that time ended up, that was my gold medal, right? Just to
Yeah.
be the trailblazer that opened up a door to say this is what's possible, and then
Yeah.
somebody else came and took the torch a little bit further.
Indeed, indeed. I love it. What a story, guys. Zara Northover. She is saying all the right things, and of course an incredible journey that almost look flawless, but the story behind it is just
Pedaling.
mouth watering. If you were to meet one Jamaican athlete that you've never met, if you were to meet them today, who would that athlete be? A Jamaican?
Merlianati.
Who?
Merlianati.
Why am I not surprised that you said Marlene? Tell
You
me
know,
why
just her
Marlene.
story, and I think her story, um like the longevity of even when she became older, and you know what I mean, like we just our culture is very much what have you done for me lately,
Yeah.
and it's just distasteful at times because she has accomplished so much, and I'm glad she picked up and she was able to even try and go run somewhere else. But why, like why, like, and I think because, and I would love to talk to her about that. I would love to talk to her
Me
about how
too.
she felt on the
Mhm.
teams, and the things that she endured, because even when they're winning, there's still a story behind it. It's still
Yes.
some BS that might have happened, right? Like,
Mhm.
and everybody on our teams, they, will have different stories. And
Different story.
at the end of the day, the adverse things that have happened prepared us to be as skilled and to learn something, moving forward. You could always find the silver lining. But Merlin Addy, I know that she must have some stories, man. And and
Yeah.
like, like I want to hear about the great stuff, but I've seen the great stuff. But I want to see
Yes.
her mindset of what she had to overcome was a lot.
Well said. If somebody should ask me now if I should pick an athlete that I want to interview next. I mean, I want to interview everybody, but I would love to talk to Marlene. And as you said, the great things that she has done, I've seen that. I want to know about behind the scene, how she was able to overcome when things were coming at her. And that is a story I want to hear because Merlin has the record for 7 Olympic Games. Who goes to 7 Olympic Games? The Olympic Games is every 4 years, and Merlin has been on a team every year, every Olympic game from 1980. So when you said Marlene, that is a very, good pick. Zara Northover, Marlene Green, good night. One Kino, good night, good night. We're going to play a little game, Zara. I want you to name as many of your teammates from the 2008
Oh
Olympic
Lord.
team, Beijing. I have all the names here. I want you to name me as many as you can. I heard you name some earlier, but I'm giving you an opportunity to
All
name as
right.
many as you
So
can.
so we've got Aileen Bailey, Adrian Finley. Um, we've got Simone. Is it Simone Clark? What's Simone's last name? We have Simone. We have Shelly Ann Fraser. We have Isa Phillips. We have Asafa Powell, Maurice Smith, Andrea Bliss. Um, Father Gale. I can't remember Father Gale's first name. And
Aladdin, Father Gale.
yeah, we have Father Gale. Aldwin. We have
All the way in Stapleton.
Yeah, Stapleton. We have distance. Well,
somebody is going to be mad at you because I haven't heard her name as yet.
Chelsea Hammond. Chelsea Hammond, Usain Bolt, Nikisha Wilson, Siobhan Stoddard,
Yes.
Mulaney Walker. I mean, Gillette wasn't competing, but she was there. Gillette Campbell. We have shoot. I'm starting to draw a blank. We have, I think I'm missing about 7 people.
You still haven't called one of the biggest names yet.
I said Usain Bolt.
Yeah, you did call Usain and Shelly, but there was another big name.
Asafa Powell. I said Asafa.
Yes.
Yep. And so Isa Phillips. Wait, was Hansel was at 2012? I don't think he was.
No, Hansel wasn't.
Yeah, he was in 2008. Was Ian Weekly? Ian Weekly, I think, was at.
Let me see if I have Ian Weekly. No, he wasn't on this team. No.
A big name that I'm missing.
Yes, you want me to help you with some names?
Yeah, help me with some names.
Veronica Campbell Brown.
Oh, yes. Veronica Campbell. Can't miss that.
Yeah, Veronica. Vonette Dixon was there.
Vonette and
Sharon Simpson was there. Sharianne Brooks was there. Sharifa Lloyd was there. Rosemary White, Sanjay Eyre, Novlene Williams, Ricardo Chambers.
Chambers! I can't believe it. Yep. I knew that's about 8 people, so I did pretty good. I said about 7 people I was missing, so I knew. I just couldn't remember the exact names. Yeah.
Novlene was there. Novlene Williams, Nesta Carter, Michael Frater, Maurice Wignall, Marvin Anderson. Marjorie Hyman, Lansford Spence, Karen Stewart, Keena Sinclair, Delarine Ennis, London. This was a big team.
It was
We
had a great team. But look at that. We had a big team and we had a big turnout, right? Like, I mean, like when we invested and we allowed the people to show up and actually be present, we had a great Olympics.
Yeah. This team was a big team. Even Danny McFarlane was on this team. Yeah, this was a super team. All right, we're going to play another little game now. Then I have a poem for you. So I'm going to ask you, it's called Quick Pick. So I'm going to ask you 2 things and you pick one.
Okay.
Ice bath or massage?
Ice bath.
Flip-flops or sneakers?
Flip-flops.
Movies or series?
Movies.
Curry goat or curry chicken?
Curry goat all day.
Fried or steamed fish?
Fried.
Festival or fried dumpling?
Festival.
SUV or sedan?
SUV.
Discus or shot put?
Shot put.
What's the next one now? There's another one. I'm actually asking you from memory. Poetry or music?
That's a tough one. Oh,
I'm going poetry. You love the arts.
Yeah, I love the arts. Poetry, though. I'm a writer. I write poems.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Okay. Well, I hope this one that I wrote for you, I hope it's very good. It's very short and spicy. So I'm going to get into it now. From Jamaican roots abroad to Northeastern pride, you rose and extend your arm with strength. Shot put, discus, hammer, javelin, you throw. The versatility of a champion you are. Olympian spirit, Jamaica's flame. You carved your mark, you earned your name. Scholar, leader, record maker, Zara, you're a true game changer, moving in faith. Your legacy, your story is one of grace. We salute you.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. Snaps,
Sure.
snaps, snaps.
You are welcome. Faith, strength, resilience, the pillar of your identity. That's you, right?
That is me through and through.
Amazing, amazing. Zara, thank you very much for stopping by to share who you are, a little bit of who you are with us. And is there anything that I did not touch on that you would like to share with us? And after that, I'm going to give you an opportunity to ask me one question. I normally give my guest an opportunity to ask me something. Is there anything that you want to share with the Jamaican people about you, that you're a real yardie, you're a Jamaican, a Jamaican, a Jamaican?
I think I want to share this because I think we just have to continue to do a better job. It's about and it's coming from a place because it's how I felt when I was an athlete. I was fortunate enough to have some great relationships with Ricardo. Ricardo, who was in media, and Leighton Levy and different people, which afforded me to have a fair chance of my story being told from time to time. But I would challenge the media to continue to tell the stories of not just Jamaicans at home, but Jamaicans also abroad, because we're all Jamaican, right? And that is the one thing that I've always found the most powerful, is that you can go to Alaska and you are going to find a patty shop, right? Like, you are going to find a Jamaican in Jamaica, in Alaska, in Japan. It doesn't matter where in the world, there's gonna be Jamaicans, and we are too small of a country for us to not be supportive and proud of all of us, no matter where we are, because at the end of the day, we are one people, right?
Indeed.
And out of many, right? One people. And that to me is so important. It's at the core of who I am. And I'm excited for us to do better. I don't even harbor bad feelings. I just want us to do better.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. My tagline is one people, one legacy. Michael Hill is asking, what does Sarah think Jamaica need to do to consistently produce more throwers?
We need to support the throwers. Remember, can you imagine being a thrower right now and having watched the 2024 Olympic Games and hearing Danielle's story, seeing Nayoka not being put on the team? The year before, Erica wasn't put on the team, even though she was supposed to be on the team, right? Every year, it's something why we leave somebody off. And you know what? Even if we could break it down. It does cost money to put an athlete on a plane, to give them the kit thing is sponsored, right? Like, so you're getting that from Puma, but it does cost money. So let's say it costs $7,500. Even if it costs you mean if 1,000 people gave $7.50, right? That's $7,500, right? Like, so the reality is there's more than 1,000 people that would give the $7.50 if you position yourself to ask for it. We have to do a better job to ensure that we could support our athletes, and they'll choose and want to throw. They'll choose and want to run and do whatever it is, maybe even do the distance, the steeplechase, whatever, but we have to be able to support them. And the other countries, they do support their athletes. The only reason why America does have as many athletes as they do is because they support them. Like, they're literally, their goal is to raise $500 million. And that's a known fact. You could Google it, right? To support athletes going into 2028.
And they are at home.
Exactly.
They are trying to raise all that money for LA 2028, and they are at home.
As a country, think about, it's all sports. I think of gymnastics. We've had a handful of people that really could compete on that level. There's no reason why the support wasn't there to make sure that they could compete well. Same thing with equestrian. The same thing with like any sport that we finally have some talent. All you have to do is talk to people in order to fundraise, reach out to the companies, allow people to help. Like, there was years that, I tried to support. I tried to get on J3As and in this and in that. And it's always this tug of war. And it's not just me. We all have the stories, and it's just a shame because it's it doesn't make any sense. You know, it's a crabs in the barrel mentality. We have to get out of it because we're better than that as a country. Bob Marley, right, wouldn't even be for it. The Marcus Garvey wasn't for it. Nanny wasn't for it, right? Nanny of the Maroons wasn't for it. Like you know, at the end of the day, we have such a rich history, and all of those stories always came together when one person had the courage to bring many people together in order to create some change. And we have to get back to that mentality. We're better together.
I totally agree with you. And you said something very important. There's so many people out there that would love to help. I'm one of those people. And there are more. There are a lot of people who wants to be a part of it, be a part of the movement, put something together, put systems in place, and ask the people to help. The people will help. The people will help.
Because, you know, and I'm making sure I say this out loud because I'm sure somebody's listening. Remember, part of getting an athlete to a place is the fact that you have to buy a plane ticket. Yes, a plane ticket from Jamaica to Japan is expensive, but a plane ticket from an athlete that is already training in California, how much are you paying for that? Right? Like, I mean, and at the end of the day, Jamaica does have a lot of athletes that are training in the United States. So we really should have the largest contingency ever at 2028 because it should not be as expensive, right, to buy tickets for people that are already in the States. It's going to be expensive, but it's not going to be as expensive as if you had to buy a ticket for a whole team coming from Jamaica or from other places. So we have to start thinking of those things now. To be honest with you, I would be buying tickets for people I think are going to make it, right? Early. Like, I mean, and this is where we just have to get creative. You always cancel if they don't make it. But the reality is, if you could buy the ticket and get it cheaper, then just do it. You know what I mean? And that's where I think having somebody that's willing to think in that way, be creative, because what is the saying? With liquor, but with taloa, right? Like, so at the end of the day, we may have to take our hand on fashion, my mom used to always say, and just be creative and do some things outside of the box to make sure that we can be there, you know, on the highest level in 2028.
I want us to look way better for LA 2028. I want us to walk into LA 2028 like a boss. A big team going into LA, but the fans, the athletes,
listen,
everything.
Just like USA had Snoop Dogg, I want to see Sean Paul, Elephant Man, Elaine. I want to see our celebrities. I want to see Capleton. I want to see, like, we have so much culture, and we're such a little island that Shinseya, you know what I mean? Like Steph Landa, I want to see them all, right? Like, I want that contingency to be there.
You're real Jamaican man, you know. I go on Zara. That's good though. I love it. I love it that you have always been true to your roots and grounded to your roots. And you said something very, very important. And I've heard the same thing from Tana Lawrence too. I'm not sure if you know who Tana is, but Tana Lawrence is before you. Tana said that one of the things that broke her heart when she started competing for Jamaica was that she was known as the overseas athlete and not as a Jamaican athlete. You know, and we really have to change that. It doesn't matter where our athletes are located, where they live. At the end of the day, Jamaican athlete, no overseas. And, you know, we need to break down that wall of segregation. Absolutely. And one Jamaica. But Zara, it was Miss Vilma Charlton, Olympian, is here. She's saying, this was a wonderful interview, entertaining at times. We all now know more about you. All the best. And this is from Vilma Charlton.
Thank you, Miss Charlton. Yeah.
Olympian herself, 3-time Olympian, and also giving back to the sport in many ways. So thank you very much for that, Miss Vilma. Michael Hill is saying, they keep saying they don't have any money, they should have. But you know, money, I keep telling people that money is out there, but you have to know how to access it. You cannot wait until you are ready to go to a championship to try and access money. You have to start years in advance. And as you said, America is on a campaign to earn how much money?
500 million, and that started from last year. That started from the year before the from 2023.
Look at that. Look at that. They started their campaign to earn money for their team that will be at home. We have to be proactive and start the work. Start begging early. Start begging early. Another Olympian in the building, Vonnie M. Ivan Saunders, is saying, I applaud you, Zara. Thank you for representing Jamaica, even though you could have represented another country. You are amazing. Amazing. Indeed. Aileen, thank you very much for that gift. All right. I think they don't want Zara to leave, but we have to go shortly. So Zara is now going to ask me, she's now going to be the interviewer, and I am the interviewee, and she's going to ask me one question, and then we wrap up. Go ahead, Zara, please, to make it easy.
So I actually, of all the interviews you've done now, what has been the thing that has stood out the most while you continue to do the interviews?
Oh, wow. That is a big question, but what kept me going is the uniqueness of the stories. All of you have competed for one team, even though you've competed for one team in the same sport, but the stories are uniquely different, and I look forward to hear all the stories from different angle, different perspective. It's just the uniqueness of the stories that kept me going every week, and I really look forward to it. And as I told you earlier, even backstage, I am one of the Jamaicans who were curious to know who you are, because your name just came up on a list. And when I was doing my research, I could not find a school in Jamaica for you. And it was Aileen, my good friend Aileen, who educated me on you. And she sent me a bunch of stories and articles and stuff. And
you see why I said she was the mother of the team? Because Aileen was going to speak somebody's name in the room,
Yeah. So it's the uniqueness of the story and the work that you guys have done, and the way some of you fought to do this for country, when, and as Ivan said, you could have gone and competed for another country, but you wanted to do it for Jamaica. The determination, the challenges, and you guys still, because like some athletes, other athletes who were supposed to be on a team, they just said, okay, I'm not on the team, but you fight for your spot.
Yep.
You made the calls, you called who you needed to call, and you were on that team, and you can now stand and say, I am a Jamaican Olympian, and that is a big deal. Being an Olympian is a big deal. So, my dear, we salute you and thank you very much. And also thank you for not hesitating when I reach out to you for this interview. Thank you very much for that. It means a lot.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. And I'm curious, did anybody ever get all the names of the team when you asked that question?
Yeah, I've asked this question a lot for people to name people on their team, and to date, nobody has been able to name all the people on their team. I mean, some people have come very, very close, but to get all, no, I haven't had that yet. But it is just so amazing because Tuesday night, I had Rosie Allwood on, and her first Olympic team was 1972, and she was able to name only 3 names she did not get from her 1972 team. So that was that's
great.
Very good. So it is amazing, and what you guys have done. I cannot celebrate you guys enough because you guys are ambassadors for Jamaica. You've done well. And anytime Jamaica turn up at a championship, let me tell you, everybody notice the energy from you guys. You perform to your best. You give it your all, and we have to start celebrating that more. It's not just about a gold medal. It is about the story behind it, the journey to get to that place where you can wear that kit, and you're wearing it right now. And I like that kit that you're wearing. So,
yeah,
Zara, thank you very, very much for being here. Thank you for taking the time out. And it's just amazing getting to know a little bit more about you and hearing your story. Very authentic.
thank you,
You're welcome.
everybody.
Thank you. Have a good night, Zara.
You too.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much for being here. It is, indeed a pleasure having this wonderful person here with us tonight, sharing with us, her faith, her journey, the whole works. Jamaican, a really hardy Manchester. She is a part of Manchester's Olympic legacy. See, look at that picture. Manchester, she said. Red Hills in Manchester. Thank you very much, Zara. Have a good night, my dear. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Guys, thank you so much for being here. It was wonderful, wonderful, wonderful having Zara here with us tonight. And thank you all. And thank you, Alien. Thank you for helping me with that research. It was well done. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Andrea Bliss was here. Michael Hill for being here. Thank you. Kino for being here. Marlene Green. Monica Lewis was here. Miss Vilma Charlton was here. Dorothy Scott was also here. Andrea Bliss, everybody who turned out tonight. Thank you. Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. Thank you all very much. And I will be back here next week when we will do it all over again. And remember, at the end of the day, it is what? All about Jamaica track and field legacy. It is about the legacy. We salute our athletes. We celebrate them. We highlight them. Thank you guys very much for being here. And I will see you soon. Have a great weekend. Have a great weekend. And I will catch you next week, same time. Next week will also be the Daniel England's athlete summit in Jamaica. Yes, and I should be televising that here live next week, Thursday, from 9 in the morning, 8:30 in the morning until 3 p.m. So that should be very interesting coming out of Jamaica. Daniel England, one of Jamaica's best, especially at the high school level. He too is giving back, and this that he's doing, his summit is geared towards educating our young athletes, our student athletes who will be going off to college in another country, how to navigate the space. He too was a recipient of that, and he did not have the support how to navigate college in another country. So he's giving that back to our athletes. So this summit should be very, very good. Of course, we will have key speakers from the universities abroad. Local speakers like Harold Beckford will be there. The banks will be there. VMBS will be on board. Coaches and the J3 should be also be speaking on that. So that should be very, very interesting. And as Zara said, let us support our young people, support their journey at whatever level we can. So guys, thank you very much. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Have a great night. Thank you all very much for being here week after week. And all my new subscribers, I have seen you. Thank you very much. Thank you to Africa, to Asia, to Europe, to Antarctica, Oceanic, North America, South America. Thank you guys very much. Wherever in the world you're coming from, thank you, thank you, thank you. Good night, good morning, good afternoon. And I will see you next week. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Jamaica's track and field legacy is unmatched. It is a story of triumph, resilience, and extraordinary talent. But do you know the stories behind the athletes who brought us glory? Hi, I'm HP, founder of HP Chat Track. My mission is simple: to celebrate the rich legacy of Jamaica track and field and shine a light on the incredible people who make it happen. Winning that race was a dream come true, but the journey wasn't easy. It's not just about medals, it's about inspiring the next generation. Jamaica track and field isn't just a sport, it's our pride, our culture, our heart. Every week I sit down with athletes, coaches and fans to bring you stories of dedication, passion and legacy. Plus, we've got exciting news and exclusive insights into the world of track and field. Make your Thursday night be at HP's place. Come hang out with us at HP Chat Track Studio, where track and field